It's Sunday, November 19th, and it's time for an update video. Tea. The weather's finally cooling off in Arizona that I can now drink tea in the morning, so I can use my rather extensive collection of Starbucks You Are Here mugs. I got 30 odd mugs. So this one is Tennessee, which is where my husband is from. So you can see. And it's got a green inside, which I'm not going to show you because all you'll see is the tea, and the tea will end up on my laptop. So I'm not going to show you that. I got tons to show. I'm surrounded by piles, so we have music in the background, so all is right in the FlossTube world for me. So let's go. First thing I want to show is one of my very first finishes on linen. This was the first piece that I started on linen, first piece that I finished on linen, and it's a rather old design. It's from the very early 90s. It was in cross stitch and country crafts, but I've seen it show up on some FlossTube and on Facebook recently, so I thought I would pull my finish off the wall and show you. It is Santas of Fable and Fantasy. See? Santas of Fable and Fantasy. Again, this is from a cross stitch and country crafts. I think it was 91. I finished it in 91. I even dated it. So, and I know I started it not long after it came out and finished it relatively quickly. It's just on a natural linen. It was the first time I had stitched on linen. It's got everything from blending filament to couched braid and cord, and it was a very involved piece, but it was a challenge and I loved it, and I finished it and had it framed. I actually had it framed by my local shop in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and she hung it in exchange for the framing, or to defray some of the cost. She hung it in her shop for a few months while after it was framed. So this is Santas of Fable and Fantasy, which is to this day one of my very favorites. So I will pull some. I hang my Christmas stuff all year round. So for the next couple videos, I'll pull down and show you guys some of my favorite pieces that I've done this year. But I thought that was appropriate since I've seen it on some videos lately. The next thing that I want to show you is stitching that was not done by me. If you recall from the October update, I had mentioned that I'd picked up 5 finishes from a good friend of mine in Raleigh, North Carolina, and had taken them to my framer. I picked them up the week after I did that video, and I have them here, and talked to her, and I said, hey, let me put them in my video. Not only will you get the benefit of seeing them, because pictures do not do these things justice, but I can show all of you, and I think you'll enjoy it. So these 5 pieces were, just disclaimer, were not stitched by me. I will put a link in the description box for Susie's blog, which actually gives more detail about each piece. I have it pulled up, so hopefully I'll be able to actually just look up the names really quick, but she's put a whole bunch more detail as far as fabrics and all of those things in her blog, and I'll link that blog post below. So here, let's see what we got. So the first piece is an ink circles piece. I think it's called, I want to say it's called Fireweed, but this is the piece. This is the finished piece. She wanted kind of a Victorian feel, thus the heavy frame around the small piece. So hold on, let me see here we go. Oh, excuse me, Immaculate Heart by Ink Circles. That's what this is. Nice, beautiful frame. The gold is part of the frame, but I love this. I was hoping to actually pick this up on the day that I had recorded so that I could sneak it into my suitcase the next day when I went to Raleigh, but that did not happen, so now you get to see it. Okay, the next piece should look very familiar. It is another Ink Circles Tapestry, which I finished earlier this year. This is actually looks exactly the same as my finish. We used the same fabric, which is 30 count platinum Murano. We used all the called for floss, and she wanted it framed the same as mine. So this is a double frame. You can see the green antiqued frame, and then this is a brown, almost walnut frame. So it's framed the same as mine. So you can, there you go. It's a good sized piece. This would not have fit in my suitcase. Ugh. Sorry, I'm going to get these back in the plastic. Crinkle, crinkle. I'm going to see her in January. We're going to be going to a get-together. So we've got to work out how she's going to get these home. The next piece, I talked about in my last video. This is the Dracula book cover by Damn Good Crafts, I think. This is the reason that I stopped at Attic and got red fabric, is because I want to do this. And again, look at that framing. This is another double frame. The red vine is one frame, and then the black is separate. But look at that. Is that not amazing? If I can get the glare. Here, let me step back a little bit. There we go. Look at that. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I've got gold, just like Sue's, I've got gold for the Dracula, and I have an overdye for the moon. So I haven't made any more progress on it, but my goal is to have the outside, enough of the outside border done that Nick can order the frames for me before he closes up shop in January. Heaven help me. But anyway, that is amazing. Alright, next, Suze, in the years that I've known her previously, has owned ferrets, multiple ferrets. So this design was just a natural for her to do. So this is, hold on, let me check the blog post and see if I can find it really quick. This is Ferret Knot by White Willow Stitching. It is a brown suede mat, beautiful brown suede mat, the brown and gold frame, and then with a gold inner mat, with a black core gold mat. And then the threads are over dye, and it's, I don't know. Like I said, I'll link to the blog post so that you can get more details, but is that not amazing? Nick kept calling this a snake. Even though I told him it was a ferret, I was like, it's a ferret, Nick. And he's like, okay. So on the paper with the framing, it says snake. I was like, oh, it's a ferret. Anyway, it's gorgeous. That's all I know. I did not run out and buy this pattern. So that was number 4, which came out amazing. And then the final one is just going to blow your socks off. Let me tell you. It's huge, so give me just a second. So, it's huge. Huge. But here we go. Celtic Christmas from MLI. Here she is. Here's her full length. She's huge. I don't know how we're going to get this one home, Suze. I don't know how we're going to do it. Anyway, here's her full length. Now, close up. Gold frame with a little bit of a green wash. Ivory silk mat. Red suede mat. And then a beautiful gold fillet inside on the green fabric. So here's the close up. But yeah, she left out the words, the Noel at the top. But still, it's just absolutely stunning. Stunning in person. Stunning. Now, I'm not a huge fan of lavender and lace. I know, kind of an oddball in the FlossTube universe. For many reasons. Designs are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. The designs are beautiful. But I own one, Firefly Fairies, which is what Dina Half Stitch Cross Stitch has been working on. That was the first design of hers that I saw. I fell in love with it and I bought it. Then I got to know Marilyn Levitt Emblem just a little bit more, and seeing her interactions online with stitchers and stuff, and decided I really didn't need to stitch any of her other items. So other than Firefly Fairies, which I still have in my stash for who knows when, I didn't have any other MLIs. Then I saw this framing. This was one of Susie's very first pieces that she stitched. I immediately went to eBay and I found the chart. It was only like $4 or $5. It was cheap. So I have it someday. Obviously I won't get it framed by Nick, but I have it. So that's the Susie's framing. Absolutely amazing results. And what she paid for all 5 pieces is probably less than what that Celtic Christmas would have cost in another frame shop. So I'm gonna miss Nick. Boy, am I gonna miss Nick. Oh, I did take 2 other small pieces of mine, older finishes that he has. I need to go pick them up. And I have a couple pieces that I'm trying to get done before the end of December, which is when is going to be the last hurrah for Nick's shop. So, okay, on to my work. So last time I told you that I had started the Mill Hill Santa Believe after I had done my Mill Hill stash video, and he's done. He took about 2 weeks. A little over 2 weeks, I guess. He's on just a 28 count natural linen. One change that I did make in the pattern, it calls for the letters to be outlined in the 3041, the purple, right? I did it. I didn't like it, so I took it out, and I think they look fine standing on their own. So here's my Believe Santa all done. One less kit in my Mill Hill stash. So he'll go to Nick probably maybe this week. That's the only finish I have. So, and I worked on him pretty much nonstop for those 2 weeks. So only in the past 2 or 3 days have I picked up anything else. So here's what I've got. The first is the final piece of the Lizzy Kate Mystery Sampler came in. So now we can see the whole design. And I had finished all the way down to here, which is part 2. And I have started on part 3. So I have the wreath complete. I worked a little bit of, finished off the strand for the border. The leaf, well, I take that back. The wreath is almost complete. I don't have the centers and I don't have the little blue things, but moving along. Anyway, I don't think it'll take long. This is one that I hope to finish so that I can take it to Nick before he closes. The other piece that got pulled out because I heard it murmuring in my wood bucket is King Arthur's Court. So here's the full design right there. All right, now what I had finished previously, so the page break is right in the middle of this motif right here, right? So I had finished essentially the bottom border to the left of this motif. And I counted up and started working on Merlin. So again, my dragon is done, and these 3, and then half of this motif is over here is done. And you can just see my flowers and gold here on the bottom. But then this is the piece that I've added since then. This is the purple Merlin's robe, and this is his sleeve. So it's just on a white 32 count antique white Belfast. Pretty sure it's antique white. So he's coming. I just love the colors in this. Will I finish by the end of the year? Ha! Hell no. But, you know, it's good. I'm I've made my 17 finishes for 2017, so I'm not really trying to push to finish anything else at this point. I do want to finish the Christmas piece just because it's the Christmas piece and I want to get it done in the year that it was released. But that's it. I've completed the 50% for a year of whips, so I'm good there. I am not going to do 2018 year of whips at this point, simply because in the past, if I do something like that, like the stitch along, same thing, I'm really good the first year. I totally suck the second year. So not even going to bother. Not even going to bother trying. It's also a shorter time period and they want more whips. So it's like, no, not going to do it. I'm just going to, 2018, we'll stitch what we stitch. Let's see, what should we do next? I've got knitting. So let's talk about knitting. Last time I showed Color Affection, my purple shawl that I was going to take on the plane. Well, finished it. Finished it. Again, not blocked. Ends not woven in because I do that after I block it. But anyway, it's finished. This light colored border is what I added. And again, I finished it as we were approaching. I'm not sure what happened there, but my laptop decided to stop. Anyway, Color Affection done, finished off as we were coming in to Phoenix on Thursday. So that's another thing done. So that's two knitting finishes, which means I got to start something new. I showed the yarn last time. I thought I had a plan of what I was going to start, but when I went to pull it out and start it, I didn't have the right needles. So forget that. So I found so I started something different. This is the beginnings of the Geology Shawl, and I will put information below. But here's it's a multi-section, so geology as in like stratifications of stone. So the first section is a stockinette section, and then there's a seed stitch section, and now I'm into a lace. It's a simple lace section. So this is it. The yarn is Shmutzerella, Yes Sir, Captain Tightpants. Stitch markers are also Serenity related, Mal and Shiny. But I got that, so that started. Moving along. I'm not anticipating any more business travel this year, so I won't be spending any more time on an airplane. But I am, my husband and I are going to Vegas this weekend, and we drive. We don't fly to Vegas, so that's half a dozen hours in the car. So in addition to, I may bring geology. I probably won't, though. The next shawl that I want to complete is a Palmera, Palmyra, and again, I'll put stuff below. This is done in a gray cotton yarn. And again, got all the way down to the bottom. So here's the shawl. It's got 3 sections. All the way down to the bottom, the lace, which is just like the very bottom 20 rows. Difficult to see, sorry. Here's the lace, and stopped. It's a cotton shawl, so it's even good for, summer when you've got just air conditioning stuff. So Palmera is the next one that I want to finish, and I will be taking it with me in the car. The hope of finishing it, but it's just done in some Cascade Cotton yarn. So that's that. So Palmera will be the next one to finish, and then I have one more that I know of that's very close to being done, and that was Downton Abbey mystery shawl that was done last year. I got all the way to the last clue. Now in this case, I didn't really like the last clue. I didn't like how they finished it off, so I'll probably do a different edging on it, but still, it's huge. It's a U-shaped shawl, and there's no reason it should be done, but it's not done. So that'll be the next one. Once Palmera is done, that'll be the next one that I try to finish off. And then I'll block them all and be good. All right. Left is stash. Past 3 weeks, as I mentioned, got my pile here. Sorry. I will just go through the pile. All right. So the first thing I got was my monthly Just Another Button Company buttons. I love this. I love this little automatic. And of course this month we got Christmas. So we got green and red and then some Christmas themed buttons. So that came. I am set for buttons for a while. And I like how they give all different sizes. I've got the teeniest, tiniest ones like you see on the Lizzy Cates and the Country Cottage and pieces, all the way up to what can almost be a shirt button. So I also joined the Color and Cotton Fabric of the Month Club. So this is, I get 28 count Lagana, just a fat eighth. And this is Old Stone. That's pretty good. It's kind of a purpley gray, very pretty. So I'm looking forward to using that. This was, as I mentioned, an eBay find for Celtic Christmas. Like $3 or $4. I didn't pay much. Which I'm okay with that. Last week, 123 Stitch had their weekly sale was on penguins. So of course I had to find some penguin things to come home with me. So the first is the Trilogy, this winter lineup. And then I got that. And then the other piece I got was the Lizzy Cake Snowy String. Snowy String. And I went ahead and got the fabric and I did the, buy it all. So it's got fabric and floss in there as well. So that'll be fun to do one of these days. The other thing that I recently found, may have bought, was Fudgy Mint Mousse. Somebody on Instagram is stitching this, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it is. I have Plum Pudding in progress. I also have Baked Alaska kitted up, but I really like Fudgy Mint Mousse. So I found the chart from one seller, and then I found the floss pack from another. No fabric yet. Maybe I'll take it with me to Vegas. Because I'm going to Stitcher's Paradise. Of course. But I can take it there and see if I can find some fabric that I like. Alright. The other monthly that came in was So Much to Love, the bag of the month. This is probably the prettiest bag of the entire year. It's not my favorite. Because Halloween will always be my favorite. But this, I think, is probably one of the prettiest ones that she put out this year. And in addition to the bag, the little extras was a corner gauge and a huge old hunk of wax for thread conditioning. So, beautiful, beautiful bag. I don't know what's going to go in it, but it's a beautiful bag. The other thing, last weekend was Phoenix Fan Fest, which is kind of a mini version of Comic-Con. It's much smaller, fewer vendors, fewer guests. Fewer vendors, fewer guests, and just a more focused event. I chose not to work this year. I've never not worked, but I chose not to work and to just go as an attendee. So I went on Sunday and was able to actually walk the aisles at my leisure, which is something that I haven't done since I started working with Comic-Con. And I got a chance to chat with Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters and a chance to chat with Kevin McNally from Mr. Gibbs from Pirates of the Caribbean. Both very nice gentlemen. There were other folks there too. I just didn't talk to them. They're voice actors and all kinds of stuff. But one of the things that I did find as I was wandering the aisles is some buttons that I think will make awesome needle minders one of these days. I got a Doctor Who collection. I got a Marvel Avengers collection. And I got a Nightmare Before Christmas collection. I also got some firefly buttons, but did not pull those out. So, so that's it. That's what I got for this week. Oh, one more thing. I did draw the winners for the Mill Hill kits for Scotland Santa and for Trick or Treat. I will append the videos where I took the screen recording of when I did the comment picker, and you can see who won. And I will also put my email address down at the bottom here so those folks can contact me. I will get those pieces out to you. I know one of them's not going very far, which is kind of cool. So thank you all. Have a great, if you're in the U.S., have a great Thanksgiving. If you're not in the U.S., have a happy November. And I will see you all next month. Bye.